Hey guys, Dead3 here back once again, and today I'm going to be doing a video where I talk about my top 10 favorite creature movies. And I actually got this idea from Andrew Ballina. He did a video where he talked about his favorite creature movies, and so I thought that was a really cool idea. I never heard anybody talk about, a movie like that. I mean, I never heard anybody do a list of films like that. Of course, I'd hear a list of people talk about, their favorite like monsters in movies and things like that. But one thing that made this list pretty cool is that not only did he include creatures like that didn't really exist, like Deadly Spawn or something like that, he also talked about other creature movies like Jaws, creatures that really do exist and are real threats in real life. And so I thought that was a really good idea. So I compiled a top 10. These movies are really in no particular order because I just enjoy all of them a lot, and it'd be very hard for me to, just say which one I like the most. I definitely say that the last one I'm going to pick is probably my top favorite one, but the rest of these are just, just in random order. And like I said, they vary from anything from, from creatures from outer space to things that, scare us now, like sharks or snakes or things like that. So I'm going to go and get started. The first movie I'm going to talk about is not really a horror film. It's more of a horror comedy, and it's Eight-Legged Freaks. And anybody that's ever had a fear of spiders knows about this movie. I really thought this movie was a really good one. I thought that the scenes at the beginning of with the spider farm and the guy who's had all the spiders, I hate spiders. So if you have a whole farm where they're everywhere, I don't like them, especially the jumping spiders. I did not like them, but I'd say that the little small spiders were more creepy than the giant ones because you never knew where the small ones were at. Yeah, sorry, throat's really dry. But yeah, also probably my favorite scene is when they go into the mall. All the townspeople go into the mall and they're barricaded in there, and each of them is getting their own weapons to fight off the spiders. I really like that, and David Arquette's performance in it is good. Everybody was pretty good in this movie. This is definitely one that if you have not seen if you haven't seen this one, I recommend it for a good laugh and maybe in a few jumpy moments that are they're not creepy, but they're a bit jumpy. But yeah, this is a really good one. One of my favorite like giant killer spider movies, Eight-Legged Freaks. Now the next one, I would have chose the first film in this collection, but the thing was that in the first film it only has one creature, and I wanted to do a movie that had and I wanted to try and talk more about movies that have multiple creatures and things like that. And the movie that I chose is Aliens. Now, I actually saw this movie before I saw the original, and I loved it so much. As people talk about in the first film, there was only one alien, so you could get away from it easily. But, well, not easily, but you can get away with it. In this one, they are everywhere. And that's what really got me into it. Just being trapped on one thing, surrounded by all these creatures is just, it's just criminal, I'm pretty sure this is going to be on a lot of everyone's lists for people who are doing this, or because it's such a well-known series. But I just picked Aliens over the first one, simply because there was a lot more in it. But yeah, this is an old VHS tape in case you haven't told. I have not gotten this on DVD yet. I'm waiting on getting the box set eventually, one of the box sets that have come out. But yeah, Aliens. Now the next one is probably my favorite killer crocodile movie, and it's Lake Placid. And I know that this is one movie that either people talk about it, they either like it or they don't. But this one's a pretty good movie. Basically, this was like the first movie I ever saw about killer crocodile. A lot of these movies I'm talking about are movies that are like my first. Like my first Alien movie was Aliens. My first giant spider movie was Eight-Legged Freaks. This is my first killer crocodile movie, and it really stuck out to me. And all the acting in it, there's a lot of good actors. Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, Oliver Platt, Betty White's in it too. And I don't want to give it away, but basically, Betty White is actually out there feeding the crocodiles, and that's why they're sticking around. And she's basically feeding them if you look on the back, she's feeding them cows. If you can see that well right there, which I didn't know that's who it was until years later when I found out who Betty White was, and I thought it was kind of funny that she did a movie like this. But yeah, Lake Placid, really good one. I recommend that. I also recommend the first movie that's just called Crocodile. That was a pretty good one too. Now the next one is actually a killer shark movie, and I really did like this one. This one is one of the gorier killer shark movies, but it's not overly gory like sci-fi tries to make them, and it's Deep Blue Sea. And this is a very, very well done film. It's got a lot of good actors in it. Samuel L. Jackson, Thomas Jane, just a lot of good actors. But basically, a lot of people probably haven't heard about this movie. Basically, what the film is about is the main character, the main woman right here is basically doing experiments on sharks in this big, not laboratory, but big, building right in the middle of the ocean. And as a result of the experiments, the sharks get smarter, and basically they go out to attack the people. This is one of the cooler scenes. The special effects are great. There's one scene where the entire building explodes, just the outside of it. And yeah, it's basically just a quest for survival. Out of all like the weak sci-fi channel shark films, this is nothing like that. This is a good one. It's rated R. It's really, really graphic too. This is one of the bloodiest, one of the gorier killer shark movies. The acting in it is great. I would definitely recommend picking this up. This is definitely one that I would highly recommend. I might actually do a review for this film because I really, really like this one. I've not watched it in years, but Deep Blue Sea is a definite movie if you have not seen it. And now the next one, this movie kind of gets, either people seem to like it or they really hate it. I don't understand why people hate it so much, but it's Anaconda. Maybe it's because Jennifer Lopez is in it, and she's not very loved by some people, and Ice Cube is also in it, but I always really enjoyed this film. I really like this cover of it a lot better than the DVD cover. That's why I still have the VHS. But this is a really good one. This was like the first giant snake film that I saw. Basically, a group of people, not people, but they're going on a search for a lost tribe in the middle of the jungle, and basically they're attacked by a giant snake. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it because I know a lot of people have seen this one, but this is definitely one of my favorite this is probably my favorite giant snake movie. I know a lot of people would say maybe Python or something like that, but the thing about Python is the snake was so big it was unrealistic. In this one, the snake's not as big as regular anacondas are. Because there are anacondas. Anacondas are already considered some of the biggest snakes in the world, or like some of the longest. So this is definitely this movie's more realistic in my opinion. But this is a really good one. I recommend it. Okay, now we're getting down into our top 5. The first one that I'm going to talk about is a 4-pack, but I love the first one, and that is Tremors. And Tremors is one of my top favorite action comedy movies. I love the original. I love all 4 of them. But if I had to pick, I'd say that the first and the third are my 2 favorite ones of the 4. But I really enjoy the first one. Kevin Bacon is good, as well as Fred Willard, Michael Gross. The special effects in it are amazing. It's one movie everybody's seen, so I really don't want to get into it. But Tremors is a definite classic movie in my opinion. Great creature feature. Could you hang on one sec? Okay, I was just checking to see if my camera still had battery in it. But Tremors is really an awesome action sci-fi film. Not sci-fi, well yeah, sci-fi. But yeah, about giant worms. Basically is what they are. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of all 4 Tremors films, and the first one is definite favorite. Now the next one was actually the first giant dinosaur film I saw, and it's Jurassic Park. This is probably one of my top favorite action movies. I love this film so much. The way it was shot is great. The music in it is amazing. The acting is great. Everything about this film I love. There's a lot of, the special effects. You can't go wrong with special effects. Some of those realistic special effects I think I've seen in a dinosaur movie. in a giant, or not giant, but like in a dinosaur film about dinosaurs killing people. But this is a lot more. I never thought about this movie as just, a monster movie. I thought of it as an action adventure film. And it's one of the most successful films in box office history. I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna go see it in 3D. Is it still around in 3D? I can't remember. Is it still playing in 3D or has it already been? I don't even know. But I don't even know. Honestly, I'll probably just stay at home and just watch this on my dad's big screen. I mean, it doesn't need to be in 3D, but if it was, I'm sure it would look amazing in 3D. I just, not in a big hurry to go see it. But Jurassic Park, anyone who's seen this movie knows it is great, and I highly recommend this one. One of Steven Spielberg's best movies, by the way. One of his best. Alright, now we're down to our top 3. Now this next one is, it's less of a sci-fi comedy as a lot of people would say, and I think it's more of more action. It's a lot more bloodier. Well, not really bloody, but it's pretty bloody. It's Critters. Now I really like this movie. First off, I like the music in it as well. I love the Critter Busters characters, which are basically people that are sent there to kill the critters in it, and they, change into their own, change into people that look normal and things like that. But basically the movie's about killer, they're called killer hairballs, basically. And a lot of people label this movie as a Gremlins ripoff. In some ways I can see it as a Gremlins ripoff, but in some ways I can't, because they're from outer space, and, they shoot poisonous darts, and there's a lot of good aspects to it. I really like the Critters films. I would love to go more in depth into all 4 of the Critters movies. I may do a review for each of the Critters movies coming up eventually sometime, but for right now I just want to talk a bit about but this is one of my favorite ones. As for other little creature movies like Goalies, I've seen the first Goalie movie, and I like it, but it's not one of my personal favorite ones. So that's why it's not in this. As you guys may tell, a lot of the movies I'm talking about are more well known, and that's only because that since they're well known, I saw them back when I was really young, and so they're my favorite ones because I grew up watching some of these movies. Like this next one. Now this is probably, without a doubt, the most successful and well known shark movie. If you don't know what it is, then it's Jaws. But yeah. Everybody knows this is probably one of the biggest blockbuster movies of all time. Great classic film. One thing that's good about this movie is that I noted a lot of people today who have seen this movie, especially a lot of my friends, get so bored by it because they're like, "Well, the shark's only in for like 10 minutes, man." And I'm like, well, that's what's great about the movie, is because it goes in depth and you learn about the characters. You begin to care about the characters. And it's really great, and it has a lot of character development, especially with them on the boat. I really enjoy when Quint sits down and talks about his, when he's fighting in Indianapolis, his war story. I really like that. I think it's a really creepy scene, just having him just sit there and just talk about it. It's just a really creepy thing because, just the war in general is a dark thing to think about, but this is great. The deaths that are in this are really great. I have to say that the little boy getting killed, and of course, if you have, of course, Quint's death at the end, which I'm sure everybody's seen this movie, but Quint's death at the end are probably the 2 glorious ones. There was one point when I was younger, I couldn't watch all of Quint's death because he had blood come out of his mouth. For some reason, when I was younger, stuff coming out of people's mouths bothered me. I don't know if it was because I was worried that it was going to make me sick or something like that. Kind of like when I watched The Exorcist. For some reason, the scenes where Reagan puked just bothered me. But, yeah, like I said, great film, great cinematography, great acting, just all-around film, 5 out of 5. Great movie right here. Everyone knows Jaws. And the last one, this is probably one of my favorite childhood movies. I saw it back when I was really young, and I really enjoyed it. And it's been in my collection ever since. It's Gremlins. And I've talked about this movie multiple times. I love this film. I just love the whole idea. I love Gizmo. I think it's a really cute character, and of how you get him wet, and of course, he pretty much multiplies into all the demon creatures like Stripe and things like that. I think Zach Galligan is really good in it. Phoebe Cates is also really great. I could go on and on about this movie. I might actually just, when it gets sooner or later, I might just do a whole review on it because, you know, I want to go into a lot of detail about why I really like this movie. I've not watched it in years, but I do actually plan on watching it sooner or later. But this is definitely my favorite creature movie. Like I said, childhood favorite. Gremlins. I love this movie. This is gonna be on a lot of people's lists. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite, and I love this film. But anyway, guys, that is it for my list of my top 10 favorite creature films. Once again, thanks to Andrew for doing his first video. I'm really glad to do a video response because this was a really great idea. And, you know, this really made me go back and think about a lot of different movies that a lot of movies about little creatures that I could have added in. I know there's a lot, but this was one movie that I really did enjoy. I mean, one video I really did enjoy doing, and thanks. And sorry guys, you're going to have to excuse me, my throat's a little bit bothered. I'm really hot. It's summertime. I got the summertime blues right now, but, you know, anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Andrew for doing the first video, and yeah, hope to see you guys next time.